Hello walkers, and welcome to the University of Tennessee campus here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're going to start off right around Volunteer Boulevard and Cumberland. If you're checking on the map, between the bridge between Hanson Hall and Strong Hall. It is 73 degrees Fahrenheit, 23 degrees Celsius. I'm going to flip you around here real quick. 1, 2, 3, and flip. I like to give people a warning before I do that, if I think about it. My name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, your co-discoverer. And it's going to be mainly discovering today because I am not an expert tour guide here at the University of Tennessee. I'm going to flip you around again. There we go. If you're not aware, well, first of all, let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to wander around the campus, see the cool buildings, because I love an old college campus. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about these magnolias too. We do virtual tours of cities, virtual nature, hiking, scenery, that sort of thing. This is a magnolia tree. I had 2 of these trees. There's a big magnolia cone that'll turn black, release red seeds. And when you're 10 years old, they look remarkably like hand grenades from the movies. And so you can throw them at each other. It's great fun, I assure you. Anyway, we do virtual walks and tours, virtual city guides, and travel guides. I talk most of the time and share my impressions, share my thoughts, that sort of thing, and point out various things that I think are interesting. You can always turn the audio off, or if you like the ambient sounds and don't like my talking, there's a ton of other channels out there. I'd be happy to recommend some. Just hit me up in the comment section. So University of Tennessee, we're going to look at the stadium. We're going to look at some cool old buildings, some new buildings, and I'm going to talk about, I don't know, the college campus a little bit. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate your support. I know I only have the one small tier, and but I feel a little odd asking for your help. I appreciate it though, and it is helpful and very much appreciated. Also, the folks who have given one-time donations via PayPal in the link below, as well as a Patreon link below. I appreciate that too. Great help, very much appreciated. All right. So we're walking down Volunteer Boulevard, which is really what 16th Street turns into when it comes up onto campus. Okay, 31,000 students, undergrad and graduate students, here at the university. And it's actually pretty old. I think it's 1794. It started out as Blount College and has been operating ever since. It is a land grant university, which I believe means it's funded by, back in the day, the federal government, I believe it was, granted land to the states for the purpose of funding education. And so I assume this is partially supported by that. In a prior walk in downtown, I mentioned the university and the volunteers. And I mentioned that the volunteers, the Tennessee Volunteers, got their nickname for a bunch of volunteers showing up. And I said wars against Native Americans, but it was actually, I learned, the War of 1812. Oop, let's go up here. I don't know what street this is. When 1,500 Tennessee volunteers fought with General Andrew Jackson in the War of 1812 down the Battle of New Orleans. It's a neat the Tyson Alumni Center. And we'll just duck up here because I guess we're on Melrose Avenue. Why not? And then they continued to have a reputation for sending volunteers to the nation's wars, and when they were called or needed. So there's the derivation of the name. It's also known as the Volunteer State. Colors of orange and white, as you might have guessed. I may not talk as much on this one just because I don't know as much about the university, but I'm just going to comment on the experience of being here in all this brick buildings. Oh, it's great. I went to a small university, about 1,200, 1,500 people, and I had a great time. Definitely fortunate to have been able to do that, and I learned a lot about myself as much as anything. Learned how to think about things more than a bunch of facts. It was a liberal arts degree in history, but just the quiet, peaceful ambiance of a university brings back a lot of nostalgic feelings, and it was a really exciting and liberating time for me. That was 30 years ago, and the economic calculus back then was much different, much, I think, more manageable than it is today. I look back at what the annual cost is of that university today, and it's unachievable unless you have extreme wealth to begin with. So anyway, that's a whole other discussion, and it's not really a complaint, more as much as a comment on the way the society has changed a little bit. Anyway, I love coming back to these college campuses, not because I want to relive my old glory days or anything, but because it's a good reminder of when the world was open and the future was open, and so many possibilities and so much newness and the excitement of learning. If you have memories if you attended the University of Tennessee and have memories, or when I get something wrong, tidbit or fact that's incorrect, please comment in the comment section below on YouTube. Also, you can probably watch this on the website, citywalksvirtualtours.com, and you can also search for this is the Hodges Library. You can search for other walking videos by runtime and location, so as well as keyword. So check that out. Look at this over here. Like, it kind of blows my mind that there's only 30,000 students at this campus. It's big. It's very grand and really beautiful. Cross over here. And it's summer session. So I said the temperature. I didn't tell you that it was about a little before 11 a.m. and I guess it's still, I've been saying late July, but it's mid-July. It's been up into the 90s recently, so even though it's a little overcast today, I still appreciate the cool air, relatively cool air. As I said, it's in Knoxville. It's which is in eastern Tennessee. We're getting into the Appalachian Mountains, and so it's pretty hilly here, which is is good for you if you're eating dining hall food and drinking a lot of beer. I saw a tour of prospective students earlier walking around. There's also, there's still up there actually. I think there's a basketball camp going on here. I think the women's basketball team is a powerhouse in basketball. Looks like some folks are playing a lawn game of some sort up here. I remember doing the university's doing camps, summer camps, sports camps. When I was a kid, I think they also did, although at the time I wasn't really on that track, a lot of, they're throwing hacky sacks at each other, or bean bags. And there's a lot of like math camps and science camps and art camps now, which is super cool. Love that, the opportunity to go and stay on a campus and sort of push yourself a little bit in terms of education. Wow, this lawn is like it's like a golf course lawn, cropped short and immaculate. Looks like they're moving on from here, this group is. What an exciting time. It's kind of neat. The Vic Davis Plaza. This is a tribute to the volunteer creed, one that beareth a torch, shadoweth oneself to give light to others. Interesting. That sort of thing seems a little hokey in our modern age, but honestly, it's pretty meaningful and would probably be helpful if we took it upon ourselves to take that stuff to heart. Now, one of the things that is sort of I don't know if it's a cliche or just a standard for universities seems to be the use of brick. So much brick. I was thinking about this earlier as I drove through campus, and I have to be honest with you, I kind of like it. Alternatively, there's glass and steel, there's stone. There's a lot of universities back east with a lot of stone buildings. That's pretty cool. It just seems more organic and more what's the word I'm looking for? More welcoming, I guess, than a more sterile steel and glass type. And I'm not one of those people that rejects all modern architecture. I like really good modern architecture. London has a lot of great modern architecture, but I also enjoy the classic buildings, classic look. And I think there's something, I'm starting to pontificate here. I think there's something about a university that begs for, or doesn't beg, but that asks or benefits from this organic, warm, welcoming, peaceful almost, despite this construction, environment that says, hey, this is a safe place to learn, to ask questions, to challenge conventional wisdom, to push boundaries a little bit, and sort of puts the hurly-burly of the rest of the life outside to give space for inquisitory thought. I don't mean that in a political way. I know that universities several universities have a reputation for political extremism. Not extremism, that's a different word, but talking myself into a corner here. For being more than would be considered acceptable thought, and that's both left and there's some on the right. And that's a shame, because I think the vast majority of academics and the vast majority of learning institutions of learning, while they may have a few people that are extreme, most of them just want to have an open dialogue and put forward and promote learning and thought. And that's one of the things I love about that level of education. The freedom to express oneself and to challenge conventional wisdom. All right, that's it. Probably. I do envy these kids that are coming to school here or anywhere, and that feeling of excitement and newness that I was talking about before. Here's the Haslam College of Business ahead. That is newer, for sure. Off to the right is the Claxton Complex. And then in the distance you can see, all right, so Tennessee is also a football powerhouse, I believe. And that's the Neyland Stadium over there. And I can only imagine, they typically play college football on Saturdays. I can only imagine what this campus is like on those days. Not so peaceful, I would guess. Not violent or anything, just a party. You just look at these white blossoms on those magnolias. Really pretty. They smell really good too when you get up close to them. I've seen this dog, I guess it's a blue tick hound, a couple statues. We just saw one in another place. Must be let's go read it. It must be a mascot or something. Smoky 10. Retired in 2022. I guess that's they have those dogs as the mascots. And that is dedicated to an individual dog. You can see somebody walking on that top tier, and the box seats off to the right. It is massive. Luckily, I'm not going to impose my views on college and professional sports teams at the moment. The sun's coming out. It's going to warm up here. I've seen several little signs with phone numbers for people that are in crisis, is the terminology they use. And that is a good point, that while it is a peaceful and in many ways idyllic place, there's also a lot of pressure on students, or there can be. I don't want to sugarcoat it too much. It's kind of neat. Although it looks like stadium seating, but also not. There's no stage or anything. All right, let's go see this. I saw a sign earlier calling this the Hill, so I think that must be what it's referred to colloquially in the university. That is Birchfield Geography Building. Here's a historical marker about the desegregation of the University of Tennessee. 1960, November 18th, 1960. Whew. This is the Hesler Building for biology. So I've done several university campuses on the channel. I think it was UC Davis, I did Idaho, Montana State, Missoula, Boise, and University of Denver, University of Colorado Boulder, University of Northern Colorado or something like that up in Fort Collins. Anyway, a bunch of them. If you guys have any suggestions on how to better these campus walks, tours, let me know. Obviously there could be more information, I know that. This is a beautiful old building. Anyway, if you have any suggestions on how I could better film these campuses, and let me know in the comment section. I would like to tailor them a little bit more. I'm not being 18 years old or 17 years old, or the parent of one going to college, I'm not really aware of the questions you guys might have that would be answered. So if something's plausibly doable, I would love to add that sort of content in. These hydrangeas, is that what those are? Big balls of flowers. I need to. Curious which hall this is. Big holly bushes. In the fall they get red, or some point they get red berries. Really beautiful. Did mention the summer session, right? So they're not really doing full term here. Science and Engineering Research Facility over there. And then we're gonna swing over here. This is Dabney Hall. Not sure what the story on that is. Neat old individually paned windows. Well, repair work down there. Bueller Hall, Circle Drive. I think we're coming back to Cumberland. It's like hot work today. Let's go back up here. Surprisingly weedy section of campus. Everything else is so immaculate. Interesting. I don't mean that as criticism, it's just a fact. I guess this is maybe an oak tree. Really pretty. Yeah, the grounds crew here must just work constantly to keep this place up. It looks great. Looks like there's a trolley system here, similar to what I saw in Gatlinburg. I don't know if it's free or not, but I've seen several vehicles, motorized trolleys. They call them trolleys because they're dressed up to look like trolleys, but they're not actually, more like a bus. Yeah, here's what I was talking about. The University of Tennessee, the Hill. Get a photo of that. Sure. Oh. Oh well.
Wait.
I was going to go over a little footbridge and I forgot. Oh, here we go. You can look back towards downtown Knoxville, see the footbridge I was talking about. We're going to kind of head that direction and see where the paths along the campus take us. Starting to warm up with the sun coming out. It's a new building, 2018. Not sure what that is. Coming up on 13th Street. Love these giant magnolia trees. This is the James W. Harris building over here. This is looks like a camp of some sort. You can see the size of the hills that students and faculty have to walk around over here. I kind of wonder if there's if e-bikes are getting more popular on these college campuses. I know they're expensive, but on a hilly place like this, it could really make a difference. Let's go out to this bridge because I just want to take a look. So you can see downtown few blocks away. So I think what we're getting over into here is sort of a little residential area. I assume that the majority of these houses will be rented out to students, but I really don't know. There is a giant parking garage off to the right, which is probably pretty nice. Good use of space. If you're wondering why I'm focusing on the parking garage, it's because there's a looks like a daycare off to the left, and I make an effort not to film schools and daycares. Just seems like a better idea. Simple thing to do. There we go. So something I noticed when I came up here is there's like 3 or 4 streets going left, right. I don't see any signs right now. They're all one way to the right, I believe, except for Church Street up there. We are on, no, we're not on anything, I guess. Oh, so that is the Sun Sphere, and it is a remnant of the 1982 World's Fair. That I mentioned this in the prior walk, and in the Depression, a lot of the manufacturing jobs that had industrial stuff that was here and helping to Knoxville to thrive crashed, and I think the term was cratered that they used. And then in 1982, they brought the World's Fair in, and and so anyway, the investment in the city really kind of helped turn things around, according to this Wikipedia article. I don't know the details, so if you challenge that, feel free. I thought that was interesting because these types of things now are kind of portrayed as a boondoggle. These cities invest billions of dollars to get the Olympics or some major sporting thing, and then it just doesn't pay off. It's just a giveaway to an organization or individuals. But apparently this one really really helped turn the city around. So we're going to head down here. I do want to say that there's way more to Knoxville than I have filmed in the last couple walks, and we'll continue to film on this one. And I just didn't have time to get down to a couple of the other places that are really pretty interesting. And I would encourage you to check out Knoxville. It's on kind of the nexus of I-40 and 75 and a couple other places. And I like these. There's a bunch of row houses up here, and they're multicolored. Just a sort of a kind of a cool set of colors up there. Here's a World's Fair Park. I would encourage you to check out Knoxville. It's a pretty neat town. I'd like to come back and go out and at night and explore more and see what else it has to offer, all the various activities and things to do here. They have a zoo, they have sporting teams, they have great parks, they have a river. Can't remember which river it is, but they do. And restaurants and theaters like we saw in the earlier walk, and all kinds of stuff. So a lot of history, museums, all that stuff. So I think it has a lot to offer a visitor, and it's easily accessible. I don't know, I assume it has an airport, third largest city in Tennessee. I don't know what kind of accessibility that has. They do have a lot of these rental scooters. So I think, and they have a train track down there. But this is World's Fair Park. You probably saw the sign earlier. And there's a pavilion down here. And I read that those are kind of the only two remnants of the World's Fair from, was that 40 years ago now. But apparently it's had a pretty big impact. I just want to swing around here. Sorry, I'm easily distracted. Squirrel. This old place has been renovated and it looks like turned into condos or apartments, and that looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyway, and it's kind of a neat little park and pavilion down here. So it's tented and it's kind of showing its age there, or weather. But look at all those seats and the stage and then the water behind it. That place would be an awesome place to see a concert. Fantastic. There's a convention center here. And I think I'll cross over here after I give you a little look-see at the Sun Sphere. Pretty fun. This water feature here, I don't know how far along it goes, but anytime you have a water feature, a well-designed water feature, I'm in. We're going to cross over here because we're rebels. And this is the World Fair Park. I don't know what the Maker Exchange is, and I don't know if this is kind of like a splash fountain where you can get into it, but really cool. I want to thank you guys for joining us on our tour of the University of Tennessee campus and a glimpse at World Fair Park here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. Let me know in the comments section what I could do better on these campus tours. Obviously more information, more detail, but if there's a type of building you want to see, you want to go inside, all that sort of thing. So let me know in the comment section. And what else? Wait for our new videos coming out. We're going to go up to the Cincinnati area, maybe hit Lexington and film a couple walks up there. So I hope that you will join us for those. Hope you'll tell your friends and family. And most of all, I hope you will keep on stepping.